The Giro d'Italia is barely finished and the peloton is already looking forward to the Tour de France. The Critérium du Dauphiné is traditionally the chosen warm-up race for the French Grand Tour. With arguably the three top Tour contenders making an appearance here, we will get our first snapshot as to who's in form. Last year's winner Chris Froome returned to defend his title, but there are plenty of riders ready to stop him. Here are Cyclingnews' top 10 riders to watch at the Critérium du Dauphiné. Chris Froome arrives at the race looking to add a fourth consecutive Dauphiné title for Team Sky. The 29-year-old has followed a similar route this season as he did in 2013, with victories at the Tour of Oman and the Tour de Romandie. This season hasn't gone totally to plan for Froome, with a back injury preventing him from riding Tirreno-Adriatico. There is no long time trial in this year's race, but the opening 10km race against the clock will be a chance for him to deal an early blow. Alberto Contador is likely to be Froome's toughest rival at the Dauphiné and the Tour next month. After a lacklustre 2013, Contador has returned to the form that has taken him to multiple Grand Tours. He has never won the Dauphiné before, but has twice stepped on the podium and finished second behind Janis Brakovic in 2010, along with 2 stage victories. The penultimate stage to Fino-Emerson should favour Contador. The descent off the Col de Voeckler is a good place for the Tinkoff-Saxo rider to dispatch of Froome before the final climb. Vincenzo Nibali returns to the Dauphiné after a year's absence from the race. For the first time since 2011, Nibali hasn't won a race in the first 5 months of the season. However, he's been training hard at altitude in Tenerife, along with some other Tour contenders, and should arrive at the race in good form. He doesn't have a great record here, and his best performance is 7th in the general classification in 2009. The Italian may have to make use of his descending skills if he wants to drop his rivals. Leopold Koenig is the only pro-continental rider to make it on this list. His NetApp Enduro team have finally earned a much-desired wildcard for the Tour, and it's almost entirely down to his results. They missed out last year, but Koenig proved his talents with a stage victory and 9th at the Vuelta a España. The Dauphiné will be a chance for the Czech rider to prove himself against another tough field. He's suffered with injury problems this season, but the big favourites will have to keep an eye out for this flighty 26-year-old. Michał Kwiatkowski is currently enjoying the best season of his young career, with victories at Tirreno-Adriatico and Strade Bianche, plus overall victory at the Volta a Algarve. After beginning the Tour de Romandie with a sterling victory in the prologue, his early season efforts seemingly took their toll. He will no doubt be buoyed by the recent performances of his teammates at the Giro d'Italia, and the break since Romandie has hopefully been long enough for him to find his form again. Kwiatkowski will be another favourite for the 10km prologue. TJ Van Garderen has good history with the Critérium du Dauphiné. The American finished 3rd here in 2010 after turning professional with HTC Columbia, announcing himself as a serious stage racer for the future. He returned in 2012, but this will be the first time he turns up here with the full backing of the team. Van Garderen has suffered some bad luck recently, crashing during the prologue at the Tour de Romandie and later abandoning. He will have a lot to prove here ahead of the Tour de France. Richie Porte should be coming off the back of the Giro d'Italia, but a disrupted early season led the team to pull him from the race. He hasn't finished a race since the Vuelta a Andalucía in the middle of February, but the break from racing should have allowed him to find his form again. Despite the less than ideal season, Porte is still a strong contender for a stage victory and perhaps the overall classification. Like Van Garderen, Porte has a lot to prove at the Dauphiné. The irrepressible Thomas Voeckler is one to watch at any race that he enters. While his attacks are often doomed to fail, his racing style will never change and are always sure to liven up a race. Voeckler won his first Dauphiné stage last season in his typically aggressive style, sticking with his break companions until the bitter end. With Pierre Rolland absent after his Giro d'Italia exploits, Voeckler will be Europcar's sole leader. Voeckler is unlikely to challenge for the GC, but another stage victory is well within his grasp. Simon Gerrans reasserted himself as one of the world's best riders after his victory at Liège-Bastogne-Liège. He added the monument victory to his second national title and his 3rd overall victory at the Tour Down Under. He enjoyed a well-deserved break afterwards and recently returned to racing at the Bayern Rundfahrt. His teammate Adam Yates could be a contender for a stage victory, but Gerrans is Orica-GreenEdge's best bet. There are a few top-level sprinters at this year's race, and the Australian would be favourite to win if it comes to a bunch sprint. The pressure is on Arnaud Démare after the performance of his teammate Nacer Bouhanni at the Giro. Démare is the favourite of the sprinters at FDJ and has been in great form this season, with 8 victories already under his belt. Démare isn't as fast in a flat finish as Bouhanni, but can handle the mountains better. The midweek stages will be a chance for Démare or his teammate Arthur Vichot to take a stage victory.